Well, thanks, you guys. We're gonna start here now, and we're gonna talk about finding founder market fit with this panel of founders and co-founders. I used to work at a venture capital firm called Andreessen Horowitz, and before product market fit, at least at the firm, founder market fit was something that we really focused on. So we're going to talk about what that means. And really what it is the answer to why are you the right person? And well, you guys can disagree, but why are you the right person to build this company, attack this market, and ideally, go take over the world or the moon or whatever it is. And so to help us talk about all those things, we have Jean-Baptiste Aviat, who is the co-founder and CTO of Sqreen. Next to him, Francis Nappez, sorry. My French is terrible. I know how to say unicorn now. Co-founder and CTO of BlaBlaCar. And Nicola Furlani, who is the CTO and co-founder of Privateaser. And why don't we just quickly go down the line. I'm sure you guys all know what these guys do, but tell us what your company does. So what is Sqreen all about? Security, I know that.
So we are Sqreen. We are a security tool for developers, something that installs in 30 seconds. Our vision is to democratize security. So we are a tool that you can really super easily use without any prior knowledge of security as a developer in your application, but also as a security team.
Francis.
So BlaBlaCar. So who knows BlaBlaCar? So yeah, we have a lot of people using BlaBlaCar here, and that's a good thing. So BlaBlaCar is a carpooling service operating in 22 countries right now, and we have 80 million people using our service. So basically, drivers go somewhere, and he can fill the empty seat in his car thanks to our service, and so travel for cheaper cost, and passenger can travel for like a very efficient cost.
All right.
Not easy to talk about after BlaBlaCar, but who knows Privateaser? Okay, some few. So Privateaser is a SaaS-enabled marketplace that help people to find a venue for their events, for a meeting, for a seminar, or for a party. You can go on the platform and easily find and book online a venue for your events.
Great. All right. Well, let's start at the beginning. And Francis, I'm going to pick on you first. Describe for us all what founder market fit meant for your founding team.
So first, it depends on the point of view. I think it's the VC point of view, the founder's point of view. I think from the founder's point of view is the real motivation to work together, whatever happen. For me, so this is the kind of discussion you have with your co-founders, and you say, okay, if everything goes well, we will work for sure together. But if something goes bad, so how we will support that together? How we will be a really bonding team? So we need to align on values. We need to align on what the company is really doing, and how the company should be focused in the future. So you have to have this discussion since the very beginning of a company.
Does that sound about right? I mean, for you guys, let's set aside the VC view of it. Nicola, does that sound about right for Privateaser?
Yes, I do agree with Francis. From the beginning of Privateaser, every month with my two other co-founders, we take time around a beer to draft and redraft what we call a gentleman agreement. I don't know if we call the same. It's a non-legal document where you can write what do you expect from Privateaser, what do you want Privateaser to become, to make sure we are all aligned, we do have all the same vision, and thanks to that we are going to take the same decision. All right. As soon as a problem is going to come, instead of facing resolving problems when the problems arrive, you have already prepared on the gentleman agreements what do you want, and that helps us a lot to be aligned on the same vision.
So I have to ask, I mean, you're talking about the founding team as you're in agreement about how you're going to work together, when problems arise, what you're going to do, and that comes before even knowing what you're going to build or knowing what market you're going after. And so let's go to Sqreen. For you guys, were you all security obsessed people, and therefore this was, of course we're going to do that?
So what we're building is a security product, and from our point of view, there were no such thing previously. Companies that are using security product, they have to sign NDA before having someone. You need to do dozens of sales calls before being able to try the product. What we do is democratize security, so our background was perfectly aligned with that because we are two security engineers and we were working at Apple, and Apple is a good example of building simple products that everyone can use. So this was really our background, and that was super natural for us to get started in building a security product and making it accessible to everyone.
So you had the Apple sort of imprimatur to go after this market. I mean, Francis, carpooling. I mean, why you guys? And how did you guys know that you were the team to do it?
Yeah, the fact is that before that we even tried to build another company on another topic. So to get to your point of being aligned is more important than the core business of the company. So what we will really do. So we just align on, okay, so we will do something together. We will build a company together, and then you can have a discussion on, okay, what this company should do or how it should do it. But the first thing is, yeah, we align on values, we align on the culture, we align on like very strong things that are much more important than what will be the future of the company.
Yeah, I do agree with you. There are two things maybe we can talk about differently. So, better?
Yeah.
Okay. So we wanted to create a startup in the events market, but none of the founders are expert on this market, which is not a problem. But we wanted to create a tech company to disrupt the event market. We want to create a SaaS-enabled marketplace, and we think one of the founders need to be expert in tech. That's why we have reached our third co-founder, our CTO, because for us, if you want to create a tech unicorn, you need to have in your founder one expert in tech. That could be a solution.
So this raises an interesting question. You need to be aligned on certain things, but where can you bring different strengths to the table, and where is it okay if, I wasn't really obsessed with carpooling, but I'm really good at something. Or I wasn't a security, sounds like your founding team was expert, but I bring something else to the table. At what stage when you're building your company is it okay to sort of bring in that other expertise, or does it have to happen at the very beginning?
So it depends a lot on the business you are tackling, because maybe you will have a huge technical challenges, then you need to bring someone that is strong on technicity super fast. Maybe you will tackle a very complicated market so you need strong marketing to acquire people. But to me, that's not the only thing. It also depends on like the experience of the founders. We are first-time founders, but when you witness second-time or third-time founders, you know that your company is gonna grow very fast in some cases. So in this case, you are looking for someone that has the experience of building and scaling, I don't know, a technical team, a sales team, and maybe you don't need, since day one, 100 of the perfect founder market fit, because you have it, you know the business that you are tackling, and so you just need to be sure that people will scale your company. And since you have experience, you can, since day one, pick the person that have the right alignment and that will be able to spread the right culture across all of the company. Because even if you don't have perfect market fit alignment, being able to spread it via culture through the company is critical.
BlaBlaCar is, I think, by far one of the largest companies, startups in France. But how do you guys, what changes at what stage for you guys? I mean, Francis, you talked about how you guys had a sort of an agreement as a founding team. How does that agreement sort of extend broadly as you scale from, founding team to 10 people to 100 people to how many people are at BlaBlaCar today? Ballpark?
It's like 500.
500. So those inflection points, what did you guys do to keep that core sort of feeling and culture and value around the company?
So I think it really matters because it's defined the way you will be growing and how good the people will be feeling in your company while you're growing. So we spend tons of time building a value framework. So we create our own values with the team. We were like something around 60 people at BlaBlaCar. And so we work a lot on building a value framework that everyone can rely on in every decision of the company every day. So that there's not like only inspirational. It's like really operational values. And then it's international. It's like company wide, and you can use in every, like in tech, in business, in marketing, in customer support, whatever. And all these values are the pillars of the decision we make, of the way we interact between teams. Whatever you're in England or Spain or like other country, so we define our own way of working through these values. So we spend a lot of time to do this, and then we have an onboarding process, very strong. Because it's very important that people understand basically the vocabulary, but why we do this and we do that and how we do things, to be sure that they will be pushing in the same direction after this phase of onboarding. So they will be adding their value on top of the value of everyone already there after this onboarding. So for me, it's like be sure that everyone has the value in mind, having a very strong onboarding process, and accessibility by founders. I think the third thing at BlaBlaCar you can ask to I think many employees. So we remain really accessible through sorry, through the time we have since we built this company. I mean, so we remain really accessible. So you can come and talk to us and ask for questions. So there's no bad questions. You can ask for everything, and we will give you an answer. So it's a very basic thing. But for employees that arrive today, so we are 500 employees. When someone arrives, you say, okay, I'm really surprised by the fact that the founders are really accessible. So you can go and talk to them and ask for questions. So I think it's something that should remain in the long run.
How have you guys tried to sort of maintain at Privateaser? You guys are in YC, correct? So you're in Y Combinator. Y Combinator talks a lot about build something that people want. But how did you take that core founding mission and then shift into sort of product market fit? When you started to build your thing, is it more important to have, or do you need, in what order do you need to sort of have your stuff together, as it were, as founding team before you really go out and try new things?
That's interesting because we talk about like the founder market fit. Now you are talking about the way to found the product market fit, but between the two of them, I think there is another notion, which is the team market fit, the thing you just talked about. So first you need to take time with your founder to align on the gentleman agreement. Then you need to define your values to create like a team market fit, to make sure all of your employees are going to fight for you, to help you to find your product market fit. And I'm not sure Privateaser has already found the product market fit yet, so we are pretty young. Not as good as BlaBlaCar has done it. So I think that's the last step of the startup.
Do you guys find that entrepreneurs out there do it in the wrong order? I mean, oftentimes I hear more about product market fit sort of from the get-go, and maybe they're not ready. Or do you think people understand that there is a sequence to this stuff if you want to build a strong company?
I'm not sure there is a perfect order. It's easy on the paper to find your product market fit because do something, ask your customers and iterate to build something strong. Though yes, Y Combinator motto make something that people want is something that is really in the end the question you should really ask yourself, and the way to do it depends really on the stage of your company. When you are a dozen employees, it's super easy to spread the word and to ask the question to everyone, and everyone is always aware of all the challenges you have in the company. And as you grow, the more you grow, the harder it gets. Some departments get specialization and they won't have the same challenges nor the same connection with the customer than other departments, and that's how you put it, guys. That's the really the good time for you to spread the culture across all of the company. The way we do it, we have like two ways to spread this super across all of our employees. One thing is spreading the security knowledge. Security is something that is super technical, super hard, but we invest a lot of time to have our security engineers sitting down with the feature teams, to have me and Pierre, the co-founders, helping also defining like a learning roadmap for all the teams, and that's one way to help do that. The other way is to keep connection with the customers. One way to do that is to do support or technical support. This way, the people that are building your product will always keep in touch with the customers and will be up to date with the challenges they are suffering and what they want from your product.
So I just talk about like the way you first found your founder market fit, then your team market fit, and then the product market fit. But some people like Rocket Internet e-founders, they go on the other way around. They started with the product market fit, okay? They know all the opportunity markets, and then they try to found some founders to develop the opportunity, all right? So I hope they have the good skills from the beginning to define the good founders that will be able to also found the founder market fit, okay? But it's not easy to start from the product market fit, and the difference, if you have the product market fit, for sure you can make a great startup within the 3-4 years. But if you have the product market fit and the founder market fit, you can go more further.
Yeah, so you're saying that reverse order of, hey, there's a big market out there, let's find a team to go after it. It can work. I mean, Francis, do you believe that one is better than another, or do you have a better shot at sort of sustainability, scaling, and lasting if you've got this other kind of founder market essence to begin with?
I think as a VC, you may need to have to be reassured on how the team is fitted for this market. So I think as a VC, you will look after a very strong team, very highly skilled team, to be sure that your money will be used in a good way. So I think this is the main difference. And from the founders team, I think you really believe that you can cover 100% of the story of your company. So you will do everything. So maybe as a CTO, I can go on HR things. As a CEO, I can go on the like renting options. So I think if you as soon as you are a team, you feel that you can cover 100% of what you have to do. So and then you can. It's something we worked a lot on too. Is like hire someone to replace you. So the company is growing, so you need to like constantly think about what you're doing and constantly think how can someone else better than you, clever than you, smarter than you can replace you in your daily job, and then you can build a very strong company through that.
So this raises the question of hiring and finding the right people, which is always a difficult thing. But it's even more difficult if at the beginning of a company, when you're bringing in new people, each person contributes a lot to the culture, to the values, to sort of how that company performs and is vital. So how do you guys sort of either test for the right fit in your early days, whether it's with your co-founders for that matter, but then as you hire more people, is there a way to measure for it or test for it, and how do you guys do it?
Measure it, I don't know, that's pretty hard to measure it, but we make sure to have some like points regularly. With our founder, we make sure like every month or every 2 months, we still have a beer 4-5 years after the creation of Privateaser. We are still taking time, not to talk about the business, just to talk about us. Do we still fit? Do we still have the same idea of where we want to go? So it's really important to say that, and you measure it. If this meeting is going well, that means a lot. And concerning the team market fit about the value, so we also have an onboarding test before hiring every people. We make sure they all fit with the values, okay? And during every semi-annual one-to-one, we, the manager, score the people concerning the value. Say, okay, about the ambition, you are still like 10 out of 10, which is great. Or, okay, this last semester it was really difficult, and you are less and less ambitious, so maybe there is a problem. So that's why we try to maintain the same level of founder and team market fit.
Do you ever rescore the values? I mean, you guys have all talked about how they're really important to how you guys guide your company and how you build it. Do you revisit kind of where you started, and especially as your company grows? Like, do things change? And maybe values don't, but maybe they do.
Most likely they might change, and I think like the market fit is not something that is eternal. A market might change, you might pivot at some point, it depends. So we are young, we did not change our values yet, but maybe some more mature company here.
Yeah, for sure they change. If you don't change, I think you're not a real entrepreneur. Huh? So so values change, of course, and so there is a motto who says the only constant is change. So we use it a lot at BlaBlaCar, and so for sure we change our values. So some of them just remains as they were, and I'm very happy with that. And I think the main thing we did is to simplify the values we already have. So at the very beginning, maybe we've been a bit too explanatory. We've been a bit too sharp in our value, like too not complicated, but maybe too precise.
How many values do you have?
We had 11, and now we have 6.
All right.
And through the 6 values, so we emphasize everything we had in the 11 ones. So it's better to memorize. It's better for us to use on a daily basis. So having 6 values is much more a zone much more like value creation than what we have before. And then we have to explain them. We have to give them life. So in your everyday job, you have to feel that the values are living, are helping you to decide, helping you to make moves. So they have to be really operational.
Yeah, I mean, they can't be just painted on a wall or on a set of, a T-shirt that you hand out when you get hired. You got to use them every day, right? And it's not always easy, but how do you guys make that part of how you work?
Just talk about it like every time. In every meeting, you need to talk about like we only have 4 values because like it's pretty simple to remember. So the very first thing, just to make sure to evaluate them for each hiring, and then we have first started with a seminar. And we have spent 2 days with all the team to work on the values, and we make sure on every annual seminar we work on the value. We create some scene theater around these values, and they are printed on the wall, of course. It's not.
Yeah, I'm not saying you don't print them on the wall, but that's not the only thing you should do.
Yeah, you don't need, but it's pretty easy. And I don't know, it's just like a mindset. If you want to, if you are pretty convinced that it's going to help you to save time and to create your company like a real human experience, values are important. So you need to do a lot of things to give them importance day to day.
And I think Francis put it right. Your values, they need to be inspirational, but they also need to be concrete enough to help you take decision and to drive your reflection and your decision in your day-to-day job.
Yeah. And just for that, a good tip we had. So we have 4 values, and just to make sure it's you know, like a value is just one word. And just to make sure we have the same meaning of this word, we have defining one sentence related to each word. So one value is one word and one sentence.
Well, I have to ask you, Nicola, then, how many 4 values, 6 values, down from 11?
3.
3?
3 values.
You did
Yes.
work for Apple, didn't you? Squeezed
It's
it all
the
down.
essence of
Yeah.
what we are, yes.
Huh. 3. Well, that sounds pretty good. I won't ask you guys to recite them, but you can ask them for their values afterwards, I suppose. Where can this all go horribly wrong? What, like, if you ignore something, like, where are the sort of mistakes that founders or that you guys have made along the way that maybe these folks can avoid because you've already done them?
Maybe not about like mistakes, but something I'm really proud of is just before founding the idea of Privateaser, I really asked myself what I am passionate in. And I have managed to mix my passion and one market opportunity. And if you manage to mix both of them, for sure, you will have pleasure working every day, and you will have the great vision on the market, and you will give this passion to your team, and that will be you will have like so great time for many years working on these markets.
All right, passion.
So I think there is something we didn't talk about, is which is the fact that founders should spend time together doing something else than working. So with my 2 co-founders, we went skiing. We went like we did a lot of things, not only working. So I think it's because you create this team, not only with the office hours. You need something else. You need family time. You need to learn to know each other. So you need to spend time outside of work. So this is kind of advice, but you should do it.
I think that's a sane advice, and it's especially more important as the company grow and you and the founding team might get more and more trouble to work together. In our case, it's true also because my co-founder lives in San Francisco. We created the San Francisco office a few months ago, and so I think this advice is perfectly true. Make sure you enjoy spending time with your co-founders before starting a company, because you will have tremendous success and everything will go well, but to get there, you will also have a lot of questions and doubts and hard work. You need to be ready to do it together.
You will spend more time with your co-founders than your mother, so make sure you are the right one.
Then your mother, what? For all the mothers out there. Well, so I love this idea of this progression from founder market fit to team market fit and finally product market fit. I also love the idea of going skiing more, getting out with your co-founders and getting to know them. Maybe not at the expense of your mother, but spend some time and get to know them. I have to thank you guys again, Jean-Baptiste, Nicolas, and Francis.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Michael.